Folks, a very good day to you, and we are live in downtown Georgetown, just on the apron of the Court of Appeal. And you have several environmental activists who are gathered out here. As you know, there's an international energy conference and expo that is on just beyond us at the Guyana Marriott Hotel. It's the second such one for the current PP administration, and there are lots of concern in oil and gas with what is happening or will happen, has the potential to happen with the environment. And no doubt you see some of that coming across in some of the placards. Hopefully, we get an opportunity to talk with some of the folks out here this morning. I've seen one of the placards in the distance reading, we demand a full liability coverage for any oil spill from the parent companies. I see another one that says here, Exxon in culinary business, the cooking the books. Another placard says, we demand taxes. All right, I've been blocked in by that car. You know, I'm reading this placard and still will go and park right there. Some people got the nerve, don't they? Another one of the placards says, safety and community is more important than money. Yep, that's what one of the placards says. More important than money and profits. Yep, there's a heavy police presence out here, of course. They don't want the show to be spoiled on the Guyana Marriott because we must all pretend that everything is all well and good, while people who promise to renegotiate the oil and gas contracts fail to do so. They promise to do many things, many things. They come up short, and now you get all this cost recovery business with the Exxon Mobil headquarters there in Ogle and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm certain is causing a lot of angst among people who care about this country and what happens to our resources in terms of oil and gas. And quite a few folks out here. Again, these are folks representing the community, advocating for betterment where concerns care and caution in our environment, how we treat our environment, and especially in the advent of oil and gas. And so, folks, there's some what's happening out here. We got lots of policemen, no doubt. It's just after 10 o'clock, and the folks are having their voices heard. And this is just some of what we are covering, guys. Down here, we are on the piece of real estate in front of the Guyana Pegasus. And if you go down in that very direction behind Humaniana, you get to the Marriott. Of course, they don't want these folks to get there. So they've cordoned off the area in that direction. And we're going to try to get a chance to talk with some of these folks about exactly what is concerning them today and why they're out here at the beginning of the oil and gas conference and expo. Again, behind the scenes, all is well and good. And you have quite a few of the speakers we saw pulling out of the conference and expo. Jeffrey Sachs is just the latest one, international economist. Jeffrey Sachs pulled out. And we have, they tell us about 800 delegates, about 200 exhibitors. Of course, you got to own an oil block to be able to exhibit at these kinds of conferences. But the big banner we see in the foreground says we demand rule of law, compliance in oil and gas. We demand rule of law compliance in oil and gas, and we hope to talk with some of the folks who are out here today, making a stand and having their say on the issues that concerns them. Quite a few persons have come out to have their say. And again, this is just some what's happening. We're going to head across and head around and try to talk with some of these folks in just a sec. In just a sec. But again, we are in Georgetown, right just off the Court of Appeal. That's that building there. And when you go around at the back of the Humaniana, which is next to the Court of Appeal, you get to the Guyana Marriott. On that side, where the International Conference and Expo is being held. And no doubt the opportunity is being seized here by these environmentalists, these environmental activists, to have their voices heard today. And in a very short measure, I'm going to get a chance. I'm going to try and get a chance, rather, to talk with some of them. So bear with us, folks. We're going to try to talk to as many of them as we can. We're going to try to talk with as many of them as we can. We got some sirens at the back of us. No doubt one of the conference dignitaries coming through. No doubt. Mama, very good morning. Could you talk to me for a little bit about some of your concerns? I'm going to come across you. You're right here. You stay right there. Just let me set up quickly. I'm tying myself up here. Too many. Guys, one of the activists here have agreed to talk to us. And we want to talk with her as well. Apologies, we are a little tied up here. Yeah. Correct, ma'am. Correct. Correct. And just make sure we could hear from the wind. And you can see right there. Just tell us as much as you can on what is responsible for your activism out here today.
Well, first of all, I'm concerned about our generations. And recently, the EPA has been nicknamed, I don't know if you know, everything.
I understand.
Everything, I can't even remember the second word, but everything okay.
Mhm.
Okay, everything
Mhm.
acceptable, you know, permitted.
Mhm.
Everything permitted
Yeah.
agency.
Yeah.
Okay?
They're waiving all of the EIAs and so on.
Yes,
Yeah.
and flying in the face of the facts that the environmentalists and the geologists are presenting. And I am frankly very concerned. I'm out here because I also want to promote an idea. I'm a writer, and I've come up with one of my characters. It's called Basili Dolly, the Guyana Rainforest Bag Lady. And what she is doing is leading a um, contingent of ancestors. She's a Jumbie, okay? She's my Jumbie, and she haunts me. And she tells me that we have to do something about this. But we're trying, nothing is happening. The government in their greed and really grasping, agenda, they're not thinking of the future. It's instant gratification for them. So we would like to have a band, you know, a Jumbie band, all the ancestors, which means that we have to unite. You have to bring out the tasso and the bongo and I got the Chinese have a drum called the bongo. I think no, their drum is tango, and the Portuguese are the bongo. I guess that came from Africa, when they were in Angola and these places colonizing. But the point about it is that we all have to find a unified platform to chant down what's happening right
I love that.
now. Exxon, and Exxon is doing this with impunity, and the government is complicit. So what is to join forces? And the best way I see from my creative point of view, because I think only a creative revolution will stop what's happening now. You have to call out all the creative artists, and you have to call out all the people in the communities to come out and encourage their leaders. It's a spiritual intervention, and it can happen through ancestral drums, just beating all over there. And everybody's ancestors turned out to stop this because it's frightening, and our generations are at risk. Not only because we're being robbed, but just because it's so wrong and stupid not to listen to the experts. Stop. It's not just getting all we should get out of Exxon. It's just looking at the future, at the environmental concerns, at the aquifer in Wales that's over the drinking water that will cause cancer. That's everybody's generations. Do you agree?
I agree.
So that's what we're doing. And
Excellent.
she's called Basili Dolly, the Ghana Rainforest Bag Lady. And I hope you look out for her and
Good.
join her Jumbi Jamboree with the ancestors.
Will do. Will
Okay.
do. Pass it to Dolly. We're going to look out for her. Folks, one of the activists down here, having her say what brought her out. And she has this placard, as you see there, that reads, we want to be in control of decommissioning billions Exxon is taking out every year. Yeah, yeah. That's the placard there. We're going to try to get uh, uh, another interview with another one of the activists who are out here today. We're gonna try to get a talk with her. Try to get a conversation with her, folks. And this is another one of the placards here. Exxon's greed trumps Guyana's sovereignty is another one of the placard, and I hope she can talk to us about what has brought her out here this morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I am good. I am good. What has brought you out?
The lack of adherence to the rule of law in Guyana in connection with the whole oil and gas industry. We have it after we got a bad contract, yes, but it doesn't have to continue to be bad. And there is a clause in the contract that allows for renegotiation if it is triggered, and that's the arbitration clause. I think it's 30 something. I can't remember exactly. So they're just talking around this whole thing. There is a way of doing it. So in the oil sector, it's after the fact of the contract, and in the gas sector, we don't have any adherence to the rule of law before the implementation of that sector. So basically, that's what's bringing me out here. This is fundamentally incorrect for a country to be a sovereign, allegedly democracy to be operating like this.
Miss Hughes, the recently, I mean, the current government did campaign on the fact that they renegotiate the contract. They recently said definitively that they're not going to do that. Even ExxonMobil came out and said to renegotiate or try to do it would be bad to investor confidence. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is they're full of a lot of words that mean absolutely nothing. And if either of them choose to read the contract, there are clauses in there that allow you to. All the government has to do is trigger it. Write the letter asking to do it. Let's see what they do. It is written there. It is a bad contract, absolutely. But there are mechanisms within the contract that allow you to do that. This whole talking around, but flight, we had flight anyway. We lived through the 80s. And we don't have to be going back over the same set of cycles over and over again because it's nonsensical. And you know, for those of us who grew up in the 80s, we could take this down to the wire, you know, because death is we all got to die. Let's see how far out they can want to carry the nation to lunch with a lack of adherence to the rule of law. Because at the end of the day, it's the rules of law that govern any sovereign state. So the government could do what they want, but at the end of the day, they got to come back to the law. So let them decide what they want to do.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know, and well, you see the placard, but it reads Exxon's greed trumps Guyana's sovereignty, and how clearly this advocate and activist makes this point. Thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
All right,
Nice
and
to
folks,
see you out there.
I am on the ground.
Thank you.
Some of what's happening here, folks. A heavy police presence here. See some police in the background there. A heavy police presence, and more on this side. We're gonna go across there and get some the thoughts from the folks on that side as well. A heavy police presence here this morning. Let me make sure we stabilize what we're doing here. And there's a heavy wind too. Heavy police presence and a heavy wind as well. But guys, good to have you on. You know, when you come on, we say share the live, smash that emoji, but as well, folks, we are very pleased. This is a very special podcast we're going to have today. Not in a usual form, but this protest action out here, this demonstration demands that. And we're going to try to get more of the thoughts of the folks who are on the ground here having this here. We're going to head on that side in just a second. We're ensuring we secure all of our straps. We're ensuring that, and we're going to make a move in just a second. All right. Trying to get to the other side now. Some of the folks who are on this side making their voices heard. And we're going to try to get some comments. This is what the banner reads. We demand rule of law, compliance in oil and gas, our lives, our livelihoods, our lands. Yeah, that's what the folks want. A better country for everyone. Could we talk to some of you guys about the concerns that you guys have? But I've spoken with this user already. All right. You stay right there. I'm gonna shift this down just a little bit. All right, we're gonna talk to one of the other folks here, guys. Just bear with us. All right. We can take it from this.
Oh, gosh. Thank you. Okay.
All right, I think we have a good shot there, and we're gonna go with that. A very good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Please do tell us some of the issues you're advocating for out here this morning on the periphery of this national oil and gas.
Okay, well, we're out here, as our banner says. We want adherence to the rule of law in Guyana in relation to oil and gas, the oil and gas industry, because this has not been happening. And there are so many issues that concerns the lack of the rule of law, including with the contract, the ExxonMobil contract with the government of Guyana. There are issues with that. There are issues with Exxon not paying tax in Guyana. That should not be so. And not only are they not paying the tax, but then they're getting they're getting permission from the GRA to then claim tax relief in the United States of America. So it's two places in which they're not being taxed. Besides that, the agency which is supposed to regulate the environment in Guyana, which is the EPA, also has been violating the EPA Act. There was a recent case where the judge he made a ruling that the EPA failed to provide reasons for waiving environmental impact assessment, and he made an injunction against the company and removed their environmental permit for operation, so they're not able to operate in Guyana. But it's not only that company. There are many. There are about 5 other waste management companies operating. We have never seen their environmental permit, which should be available to the Guyanese people. We don't know if the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, waived EIAs for them, but it must be so, because none of them can be found on this is environmental impact assessments, none can be found on the EPA's website. And they, by law, have to publish EIAs on their website. So how are these waste management facilities operating? They are bringing hundreds of thousands of tons of hazardous and radioactive waste from offshore to onshore facilities. And up to now, we don't know the exact amount. We don't know exactly what they're bringing. We don't know how they are treating it in any detail. And we do not know if, when they dispose of it, which all seems to be going to the Hague Bosch landfill, we don't know if that treated waste is really safe. We don't know this. So communities in Guyana are being put at risk by ExxonMobil and its operations, especially with the waste management facilities, not to mention everything that they're dumping into Guyana's ocean from their offshore operations. So, and by law, the Constitution of Guyana says that Guyanese are supposed to get information about what is happening in their country, and the right to participate and be consulted on issues in Guyana. We have a conference here, and we were told that the press of Guyana, the Guyanese press, were barred from attending this conference. How is that possible? What is happening here? Is this ExxonMobil and EEPGL country, or is it the country of Guyanese?
Indeed, folks. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much for your views. And our sister was absolutely right on the front with, well, on all the issues really, and especially that one with the media being barred. That's just one of the concerns, folks. And the placard here says, EPA, how much hazardous and radioactive waste being brought onshore? Another major concern here for the folks who are lifting their voices, and this is on the periphery of the International Oil and Gas Conference and Expo. If anybody else would love to talk to us, we'd love to get some more views, as many as we can. Oh, great. Just give me a second. All right, another guy is going to talk to us. We're so grateful. Go right ahead, sir. What are some of your concerns that have brought you out here today?
Good morning. Do you see my sign? Right? It's not we demand. We demand more royalties, more profits. We demand a fair share of our oil. Suriname will be getting 62.25%. Trinidad was getting 67.5%. That's the total of every 100 barrel. Venezuela gets 72 out of every 100 barrel that comes up. Brazil right now in 2017 got on its offshore salt fields 75.86%. That is Brazil's take. Out of every 100 barrel of oil, the Brazilian government gets 75.86. We are getting less. We are getting 12.5% right now. Okay, we the guys will demand our fair share, and our fair share, like Forbes Bonham said, is not 50 or 50. It's not 50 or 52.48. Our fair share is at a minimum 60, like Bonham said, 60-40, because it belongs to us. But Bonham was a little on the low side. We actually deserve 75%. We deserve 75 out of every 100 barrel that comes up. And right now, Exxon is getting 85 out of every 100 barrel. Exxon is actually getting 87 out of every 100 barrel that comes up. The government itself gives the data showing that out of 102 lifts, we got 13 lifts, which is out of 102 million barrels of oil. Guyana got 13 million barrels of oil. You do the calculation, and you will see we're getting less than 13%. This is absolute madness. But what I would like to say, you as a member of parliament in the previous APNU AFC government, you are a large part to blame for what this is happening. You guys created a monster that the present government is just enlarging and enlarging. You guys signed the worst, most abominable oil contract in the history of the world. Go through and check. There were 130 oil contracts. None of them have even one, much less the 5 or 6 abominable terms that no other contract in the world have. No other contract in the world has 0 taxes paid. Guyanese citizens working for $200 or $300 have to pay taxes. Why are ExxonMobil and their workers who work for thousands of dollars a month paying 0 taxes? The first thing a country has when it gets oil is they amend the tax laws so that every worker comes in pays taxes. Because of the amount of money involved, foreigners are making thousands of dollars a month in Guyana paying no taxes. Because the Guyana previous law says once you live for less than 183 days in Guyana, you don't have to pay income taxes. The first thing you can discover oil is supposed to amend the tax law so that every single person in the country pays taxes. But back to what I said, I have never heard you or any member of the previous government apologize to the Guyanese people for signing that abominable contract. That has given this government a pass where they always blame you previous government. Oh, the previous government signed the contract, we can't change it because signing their contract. So you guys have to apologize to the nation for signing that abominable contract, and you have to say there's clause in the contract that says we can't change the contract if both of us agree. We, the Guyanese people, you as a member of parliament of the opposition, have to come together with every single Guyanese and demand that they change that abominable contract. We as Guyanese citizens, it's on us as our Guyanese, for our children and our unborn grandchildren's future, that we change that abominable contract. And all we are asking for is to get our fair share. And our fair share is at minimum 60% of total oil produced. That means out of every 100 barrels of oil, we have to get 60 barrels out of every 100. That's our right. That's our decent and a fair share. We demand that, and we should get that. I urge you and your fellow members of our opposition to join in every patriotic Guyanese citizen in demanding that we get at a minimum 60% of our oil.
All right,
I'm
my brother.
finished.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A lot of strong views out here. And my brother, because we live in a democracy, has a right to put his own. And his placard says, we want more royalties and profits. Thank you so much. My sister here has a placard that says, safety of communities more important than money and profits. We demand safety. We demand safe, healthy communities and environments. And of course, the devilish company, EPPGL, exposing women, children, and communities to hazardous environments. And we heard some of that from our sister. Anybody else want to talk with us?
Blessed morning, blessed day. Blessed morning, blessed day. I'm standing here for my family, relative, everyone in Guyana. I'm a pioneer from since National Service, from Youth Corps. I passed through the torments that other countries was trying to fight to get, because they see that we are the golden city. This is El Dorado. One point I need to make is that national policy, the thing that LF Hobbs Burnham taught us, and we see that it come to light, that's why they destroy it. And I see too that our first leader, he's the only one had the future for this country because he think about the nation and that's it. A country like Guyana, who is under the sea and we are here, was punishing so long and we get our republic to do what we need in our land. We do not need dictators. This is our oil. This is our soil. Our first leader teach us or taught us, show us that we can live on our resources. Countries have to come and beg us. If the other parliament personnel was to put on the shoes of LF Hobbs Burnham, time like now, so we wouldn't be a free port because he see that they must come in with some what did we it is saying that it must be not a free land, but they must have a pass to come in, like a visa. But anybody coming in now, presently now Guyana is like Egypt. Presently now, we don't have massa. The massa is the money. Anybody that have a cash come in Guyana and do anything they feel like. The people of Guyana is disgust. Enough is enough. But what? They're scared. They fear. Poverty is in the land. We can't walk with even a couple $1 million in our pockets. It's been taken away. Secondly, it is time for we to own our oil. It is here. We don't care who come and take, but we want equal share. Presently now, all parliamentary mouth shut up because of the truth. It's the truth. We buy a house. We finish paying for one that putting oil, billions of oil outside, and our poor people can't get nothing. Up to now, a house can't get a half barrel of oil. It's totally dotishness. What's wrong to our politicians? Are they thinking about themselves? They're not thinking about the other years to come? What about our youths to come? I don't want to say that we changing or we going into a different technology. Start from the ABC. We used to make bicycles. We used to put up other things. What happened? We used to make we own milk. What happened? They're eating up what Burnham said mustn't done. And that's why it's a sin. And we've seen it in front of us now that the devil coming and control our land. This is a republic, the people land. It's not no parliament. We put them there, on there, to direct. We could tell them to go, but the people in Guyana do not know the rights because they don't know national policy. Is that the takeaway from us? If we were teaching national policy like how Burnham used to teach it in the national service, we would know our rights. They're just sitting there. They have to order. We have to give them orders, and they direct the show. I'm disgust. I'm a paper vendor, and I used to live for $1 a day. It's time. It's 7 years since we find oil. It's time for each house. It's not a billion. It's not 2 billion people in Guyana, but it's selling out billions of barrels. Why we can't get it down below there? Politicians know what you're doing. As to where the African man say, give everyone the equal share and you can see how Guyana live. This is El Dorado. We are standing on gold. We have everything. They have to come to us. Now we go to them. We have to say, no, you can't get this. But the politicians, them still weren't with the European. I would like to know what really going on. Is we still British? We still using that British line? Do we have anything like we own law? Burnham, they put it inside. He's the first, and they're changing it. stand to our ABC and we will be bright. We will even overthrow America. I'm telling you, because we have the materials, isn't it? Praises, praises. Let me give them praises, but we need our thing. If we can't get it, let it go along the way, let's it, hey. Because we know since 19 or long in the hey. We could get free current. And we could get it from our water. But as the party changed from one to the next, the breaking up and broken up. We could get it from water. We didn't have to pay so much money. Huh? Now they finally like Christmas Columbus. We have oil since we born. We give to Trinidad. We said, Trinidad, go ahead. Guyanese got to learn the history. When they learn the history, they can know that the slave master ain't beating them by whip. They're beating them by the money. Just with beating them. Blessed morning.
Thanks, my brother. Anybody else going to talk with us? Anybody else going to talk with us, ladies? No, that's all right. And some of the placards here. Let me see that one, sir. Exxon destroying the environment with their flaring. This one says Exxon cheated Guyana on pre-contract costs. Well, that's a big issue right now. And then these young ladies got some here that says we demand taxes on our oil, and the one at the end says we demand full liability coverage on any oil spills from parent companies. Excellent, from the parent companies. And quite a number of the folks are here. It's good sun out today, and they are making their voices heard. We demand safety and healthy communities and environment. And then my brother's on here, very important one. We're exposing all these children and women and the communities to hazardous environments. Safety of communities, this one says, is more important than money and profits. Yep. Good. And of course, you think?
I say, imagine in an oil-rich country, poor people can't buy food. Poor people are starving. And while we want to talk about the 2% royalties that we don't think is right, we got to look at, our safety of the environment. Look at all the waste and the toxic waste that is coming up on our land. What is happening to what will happen to our community? What will happen to our children? What will happen to our health? And if we look at what's happening in Nigeria right now, if we're to have an oil spill, the money that we get from Exxon can't clean up this oil spill, and this is going to be our headache, and we are the ones who will be suffering while Exxon will just pack up and leave and go on their jolly way with our resources, and it's not fair to us. Poor people in this country don't even know what's going on. A lot of people don't even understand what's happening with oil and gas. And this is the plight of our poor communities in Guyana. All we know is that we're suffering, and as poor people, we glad that we get oil because we feel that we can get help, but it's not forthcoming. And as my placard says, that your security is more important than money. So EPA have to step up their game. They need to protect us. They need to protect our environment. They need to protect our lives because that matters.
Thank you so much. Safety of community is more important than money and profits. Tremendously good sign there. And of course, Exxon's greed trumps Guyana's sovereignty.
Can I say one more?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. I would like to see how far out to lunch the government carries the state and its assets, because the rule of law is what determines it. And at the CCJ, that's all they have to work with, not any background or backdoor agreements that may be in place. I have no idea, but prima facie, it makes no sense how this thing is going. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you as well. Folks, this is what's going on. We're in front of the Court of Appeal. The folks are not going to be allowed to go further.
Tell them that we are all involved.
Great.
All consumed. All.
Martin Carter.
Yeah, everybody should be everybody.
Good. Sister said it. Quoted Martin Carter. All involved and all are consumed, and they're expecting to see more folks out here. This is what's happening. We demand rule of law. This huge banner says, we demand rule of law, compliance in oil and gas, our lives, our livelihoods, our lands as well. Just pull back so you guys can see more of this. And this is some of what's happening in the city. That's the scene of this end, folks. as these environmental activists have spoken on several issues, and they have a right. They have a right to do that in a democratic country, a country that practices good governance and good democratic values as well. They have a right to make their voices heard. And that issue with the media not being allowed to really talk to delegates, that's a serious one. That's a serious one, and a serious signpost as well, where we are as a country. We're going to leave it here, folks, for now. And thanks for joining our broadcast. It's good sunshine on the outside. We wish more of you were out here. And as you heard, our sister says, all are involved, quoting our late great national poet Martin Carter. All are involved and all are consumed. And there's where we're going to leave it. Thanks for joining us, folks. Folks, a very good day to you, and we are live in downtown Georgetown, just on the apron of the Court of Appeal, and you have several environmental activists who are gathered out here. As you know, there's an international energy conference and expo that is on just beyond us at the Guyana Marriott Hotel. It's the second such one for the current PP administration, and there are lots of concern in oil and gas with what is happening or will happen, has potential to happen